Previously on Nomad Travel Adventures. Buongiorno, fellow travelers. Simon here, about to take you on your next adventure. I'll be spending about a whole day here in Florence, Italy.
Imagining Florence and being in Florence were two completely different things.
So we made it to the Piazza. As you can see, there's so many people behind me. Freaking tourists.
Piazza has statues, and that's an understatement. There's so many you're not exactly sure what you're looking at, but it's still super cool.
So many statues, but I'm kind of over it. Back on the go, I headed over to Uffizi Gallery. It's basically this art museum with some of the most famous art from the Renaissance, including works by Da Vinci. Tickets are fairly cheap, and you can even pre-book them online. I didn't wait that much, and I didn't pre-book mine, so depending on when you go, this can vary. You can also get the audio guide if you want to take a longer visit to the museum. I was fine without, so I headed inside. This was beyond amazing as I took in all the marvelous staircases. I had been transported back into the Renaissance, where art was a newfound celebration. The sculptures depicted wonderful stories of tales untold, and I was beginning to develop a higher sense of appreciation for all the time and effort that these masterpieces must have taken. Of course, many of them were works from textbooks where I had read about them, but seeing them come to life in front of my eyes gave me a deeper sense of feeling of what the artist was trying to portray. Although I recognized quite a few, there was one that particularly stood out, The Birth of Venus. I had always been a fan. Walking through some of the different displays, there was an air of royalty, and you could see marvelous views of the city from outside. Then, I headed into what is probably one of the most visited exhibitions of the gallery, the Leonardo Restoration Exhibition. Besides seeing some of Da Vinci's work, this part takes you through the process for the famous restorations that the paintings have had. After seeing this and a couple more well-known pieces, it was time to head out. But not before making a quick stop at the gift shop. There are some pretty cool things there, but I was more than ready to be back outside. And just like that, I headed over to the exit where I was joined by a herd of tourists. It seemed like everyone had to take a moment to settle back into reality as we left the Renaissance. Okay, so we're finally done with the museum. It was a really nice change of pace, but now I think we're gonna head over to the Galleria Accademia, and that's where the famous David is. And off I went, in search of the famous David sculpture. Walking through the streets, I noticed a very soft and elegant feel to the city. It was very romantic and dreamy. But I was getting kinda hungry, so I stopped to get some delicious Italian gelato. If you're ever in Italy, I highly suggest you try any kind of gelato, as this is one of my favorite snacks to get in between going places. Passing through the center, I was beginning to fall in love with the beautiful array of buildings and tiny shops that made up the wonderful city of Florence. It was very picturesque, to say the least, and I was beginning to feel like I was in a fairy tale. Shops, locals, and amazing food make this the perfect Italian weekend getaway. Everywhere I turned, it was like I was walking through the pages of a very beautiful story narrated long ago. The squares, the alleys, and historic buildings each had a story of their own. But it was time to come back down to earth, as I had arrived to the place where I was finally going to meet the famous David. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is a moment you've all been waiting for. Look at what's in front of me. And there it was, the David by Michelangelo. After seeing the incredibly precise sculpture, I checked out some of the other exhibits and was back on my way out. It was a pretty short visit. Okay, so we just got done with the museum. It was really cool. The David was really awesome. You could tell that he really studied the anatomy of the human body, well, the male human body to be exact. But now I think we're gonna go to the Central Market, get a quick bite to eat before sunset, because for sunset I've got something special planned. Hungry for a quick bite, I was back on the road, this time through what seemed like a rougher part of the city. Even on the less touristy streets, Florence still managed to maintain this elegance and antique, which reflected off of the various architecture and graffiti I saw along the way. Finally arriving at San Lorenzo Market, I was greeted by outside vendor shops. This market has two parts. There's the outdoors with different vendors selling various items, and the Mercato Centrale, which is the inside of the building where they sell a huge variety of foods. Obviously, Italian cuisine at its best. I couldn't wait to get inside. It still wasn't rush hour, so it was perfect for me to get a quick peek behind some of the best and well-known dishes in Italy. From sweet to savory, it seemed like I was bombarded with choices and I had no idea in which direction to go. Pasta or pizza? I wasn't sure. That is, until I saw a smaller stand in the corner selling Sicilian cannolis. They are these small pastry tubes filled with cream consisting of sweetened ricotta. They looked so good, I had to give it a go. Okay, so it is really loud in here, but I went ahead and got the cannoli. It's a dessert that is very typical in Sicilia. It is one of my favorite things to eat when I'm in Italy. I wasn't too hungry because I'm still full from that panini. So, yeah, we're gonna try this. It's got pistachio. It looks so good. The pistachio just gives it that nice little hint of nutty flavor. Really, really good. Okay guys, so after checking out the market a little bit more, it is time to head to the place that I'm going to take you right before sunset. We're going to actually go to Piazzale and Michelangelo. It's like this giant plaza where you can pretty much see a panoramic view of Florence, and it's supposed to be amazing. We have to hurry there, so I'm probably not going to video much to make it before the sun goes down. Alright, let's go! As the day came to an end, it was time to head out to a tourist hotspot in Florence. Timeless, this was a city I would never forget, and I kept thinking, what more could there be? But it was precisely what came after that left the biggest impression on me. It was a bit of a hike to get to the Michelangelo Plaza, but it was worth every step. The setting of the whole city in front of me as the sun set really took this trip to another level. There was a huge crowd of people, but everyone was quiet as a street performer played classical music in the background. It was a truly amazing end to one of my favorite trips in Italy. Florence was a dream I never wanted to wake up from, but as the night started setting in, so did the reality of having to catch a plane in the morning. So, taking one last stroll around the city, I took it all in. The fairy tale was finally coming to an end. Okay, so that was probably one of the best views I think I've ever seen of a city. It was a little crowded, but that's okay because you got to enjoy the beautiful sunset in Florence, and that was enough. Really, my trip is coming to a stop now, but it has been so wonderful to be here. I really, really love Florence. It is like the romantic side of Italy that I've never experienced before. So if you get a chance, do come here. It really was just like a fantasy. I do have to go though because now I have a bus to catch. So I will catch you in my next adventure. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Like or comment on my video, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later. See ya! Like my videos? Subscribe for more.